Stuffing the goose. That's an expression you've heard before. What is it? Well, I've seen this done. There was someone on our moshav that used to do that before it became outlawed by the human rights activists or others. They basically would have geese, or sometimes a duck variety, that they would keep in these pens, and they would 5 times a day, they would go into their pens, and they would have a machine that they would have a nozzle on it and a pipe. They would stick this pipe in the goose's throat, and they would push a button, and it had a pre-set amount of mash, and they would inject it into the goose. And they would do this 5 times a day. And the purpose of it was to overload the goose's, to enlarge the goose's liver. The liver helps store fats and helps to deal with excess food and nutrients. And eventually that liver might become 3, 4, 5 times larger than it would normally be when they did this. And once they got the goose to the point where the liver was what they were looking for, size-wise, they would slaughter these geese, and they would send the livers to, I think, to France, and they would make pâté, goose liver pâté, which is considered delicacy. And then the meat from the geese would be sent to slaughterhouses here, and they would use it in some of their shawarmas or their gyros or whatever different things people call it, with meat on a spigot and in a sandwich. Why do we even bring this up? Because sometimes it seems like in the body of Messiah, we get into this program where we have 2, 3, even more meetings a week. We go to these meetings, and we might hear a message from a teacher or a pastor, and then we'll get let's say, for example, on a Sunday, and then we'll get another message on a Sunday evening, and then another message on Wednesday, and maybe during the week there'll be a Bible study. The problem I see with this is people haven't had a chance to digest the message. They're already getting a next message and a next message and a next message. And before they have a chance to digest it properly and let it and apply it to their lives, it's time for another message. And I question, yes, this is a system that has worked for decades, if not centuries. But the question is this right? Does this produce strong, able-bodied, mature believers, or does it just present a bunch of jumble in somebody's mind because they can't remember one message from the other? They've heard all these things, but are they able to apply it? I question whether meetings should occur as frequently as they do, and if they do have to happen, do they need to have messages every time that turn around and just fill a person's mind with clutter? Good clutter, yes. Scripture, yes. Good words, yes. But can men absorb it as rapidly as it's being given? Now, you may question that and say, who are you to say that? And I am nobody. But I think in honest discussions, we should think about these things and wonder if we need to slow down on the messages, maybe even repeat the same message until it becomes food for the body, and then go to the next message, or food for the soul. That's my question. Maybe it's a bad question, but I think it's worth thinking about.